Let me know when I should start, guys.
Yes, I will do so. I do have everybody on the platform already, but I will let you know. I'm going to do an official opening.
Okay.
We're just going to get 2 minutes to just give everybody a chance to log in. Welcome to everybody that's on the platform. Let's give ourselves 2 minutes to just get everybody to settle in. Thank you. Good morning to everybody on the platform. We should be starting. My name is Julian Kwao, and I'll be your program director for today. The purpose of today's meeting is to introduce our businesses to potentially supplying Pick n Pay and outline the capabilities and show how their offering aligns with Pick n Pay standard and customer needs. We are here to obviously engage more with Pick n Pay. I've got Mr. Mark Bundy on the line from Pick n Pay. He's going to be taking us through a very detailed presentation that will assist our clients to ensure that they get their product onto the Pick n Pay shelves. Mr. Bundy, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Julian, and good morning, everybody. And thank you very much for affording us this opportunity to speak to you guys. And I think I've got a presentation, but most importantly, I'm going to leave some time for us to engage. I do believe that most things are best understood through conversation. So I do look forward to that particular time. I'm going to start the presentation now. And I just want to say that every business that is out there is based and started upon something. As Pick n Pay, we have values, and the greatest value that we have is doing good is good business. But we have to look back and understand ourselves. How did we get here? And what passion do we have? And where does it come from? And there is no other person that can best give us that kind of information other than the late founder of Pick n Pay himself, the late Raymond Ackerman. I've got a video that we'll share with you guys. And the video does really share key notes throughout the things that we look at and why Pick n Pay is a company that's got a small business division, and what my duties are and what we look for. So I invite you to pay attention to the video that I'm going to share with you guys. And please do write some questions and take notes that we can be able to share at the end of the presentation. So I invite you to pay attention to this video.
I went to university in 1949. We had a professor, a long-haired professor, and he said, right, why have you guys come to my class? I'll answer the question, and I want you to put your hands up if I'm right. You want to make money quickly. Everyone put their hands up. And he said, I'm going to fail you all in 3 years' time if you think that that is the aim of business. It was a very difficult time when we bought Pick n Pay. South Africa was being criticized the world over for apartheid, and we were now going to build a business in an apartheid society, and we had to work out how we were going to handle ourselves.
The apartheid laws sought to disrupt, destroy, and segregate society.
You could never be what you wanted to be in life because the system just simply did not allow you to move beyond where you are.
People for so many years never thought anything of themselves, never thought of themselves as human beings, and they just pass it on to the next generation.
Successful transformation is shifting of minds, and that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to take a couple of generations.
So from day one, we said we were going to treat all our staff, regardless of the laws of the land, as if they were in a normal country. They would be treated as people.
The early years, when you couldn't appoint a black person as a manager, the company simply ignored that and appointed black managers.
And when he walked home, he would say, I'm the store manager at Pick n Pay in Seapoint. And people would look at him, are you mad? Are you making up stories?
Mr. Ackerman saw way beyond. He knew that one day all this will come to an end.
In the early years, in the 80s, when blacks couldn't own any property in the urban areas, the company took a very brave stand.
3 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, a living room, and a fireplace.
They defied the laws of an unethical society to build an ethical company and an ethical family.
For him, it wasn't about the law. It was what was ethically and morally wrong.
He was constantly in a clash with the government about price control of bread, price control of petrol.
And he was always pushing for the bread prices to come down because bread was, of course, a staple diet for the people that came from a disadvantaged background.
His concern for the consumers was a genuine concern. It wasn't just a business trick to attract business away from his competitors.
It's not only buying and selling of goods, but it is to do your utmost best in order to support the communities that you serve in whatever way it is. And I think that makes Pick n Pay different compared to any other retailers.
The intention was actually really to help the South African society. And on that note, if you go into Wendy's office, you'll find all her graduates on that. They be doctors, they be politicians. They have actually touched so many South Africans. And in a sense, that it is education that begins to take poor people, in fact, out of that cycle of poverty.
Business is there to make a profit, but how you do it is up to the conscience of the individuals and the conscience of the business. This business just happens to believe that the right way to make a profit is to actually invest into society as a whole.
We need to look at the needs of society and add them into our cost of doing business today. And one of those costs is to accelerate the Small Business Incubator Program. I would love to be able to look back in 50 years' time and saying, our dream has succeeded. We've created entrepreneurs. We've helped communities evolve. We've helped people access the formal economy. We've helped educate people and developed skills, and we've made a difference.
Doing good is good business is a fundamental principle of Pick n Pay, from the day we started and today as well. In my mind, it's the right way to build a successful business. And we think all business could be geared and run with exactly the same principles.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. And just to highlight a couple of points from that video, I do believe you guys have taken some, but I think what should have stood out there is what transformation is. And it spoke of a shifting of minds that leads to a successful transformation. And then the video really explained or showed how as Pick n Pay, we actually live the values. Because very often we talk about growing small businesses, but that's what you really see. But as Pick n Pay, I do believe that to a degree, we actually leave that value by putting our words into action. And what also should stand out there is a genuine concern for the work that we do, really looking for small businesses that we can work with, that we can grow within our spaces. And then our previous chairman, Gareth Ackerman, then highlighted that we are in business to make a profit, which is very, very fundamental. However, how we make a profit depends on each individual business, and how you structure that becomes quite important in terms of how you see yourself within the society that you find yourself in. What is also important was how it was highlighted that by making sure that the way we make profit actually puts the societies that we want to serve in serious consideration. So are we making a profit through ripping off our customers, or are we making a profit through looking after the societies that we serve? So one of our things, something that was brought out why we have the small business department in Pick n Pay, is we aim to increase local procurement by accelerating small business access into the supply chain. And we love to improve and develop great quality and range of local products through customer engagement. And we basically operate off these four pillars, which is to empower, to engage, to equip, and of course what we stand for, the enterprise supply development itself. So in empower, we build entrepreneurs by providing them with mentorship and business development support. When we engage, we believe in developing strategies and programs with the aim to increase productivity within the Pick n Pay supply chain. How do we equip you? We promote and facilitate all aspects of small supplier development within Pick n Pay. And in the enterprise supply development, we provide startup businesses with preferential trading terms, allowing small businesses to ease their way into retail. And I am happy to take questions at the end so we can expand. And enterprise supply development, what do we do within that bracket? We focus on growing small SME businesses within 3 to 5 years. We also look at turnover less than 8 million or under 1 million for startup businesses. We provide SMEs and startup businesses with preferential trading terms, allowing their businesses to ease their way into retail. And then under Empower, we build entrepreneurs by providing mentorship and business development support to advanced in the advantage of their businesses. Then we personalize business reviews, meetings, and groups in terms of decisions, so a discussion. So basically what we've done is we've created KPIs which allow us to sit and discuss your performance based on those KPIs, which we use as a measurement. And these KPIs, we basically are measured in a way that allows you as an independent business to actually see how you are doing within the business, and they also allow you to identify areas that you need to work on. Under Equip, we establish sustainable partnerships that benefit both small businesses and Pick n Pay. So whenever we get into business with you, with any other business, we make sure that the way in which that business is structured is in the benefit of both of us, but most importantly, in the best way to serve our customers. Facilitate services such as financial accounting principles, stock management, sales forecast, and product development. As we know, this is really the center of any business. You need to have a product. You need to make sure that product is financed right. You need to make sure that product is costed right. We need to make sure it comes out at the right price at the tills, so that customers can consistently come back and buy that particular product. Provide an understanding for the retail market. Do understand and realize that a lot of people that go into business, they're so focused on the product itself. Then there are also other things that you would need to understand where it comes to retail. So we are happy to sit and equip you in those areas. And then when we engage, it's tailor business review meetings and shared market insights through group discussions. So the KPIs that we spoke about earlier, when we've put you through that process, we then sit with you and make a tailor-made decision or plan that best suits your business. So we deal with businesses that might bring hair products, that might bring energy drinks, that might bring coffee products to us, that might bring detergents. So these 4 businesses will definitely operate differently. So when we sit with you, we make sure whatever information we are giving you best serves you in that category or in the field in which you find yourself in. And there is that the development of strategies and programs with the aim to increase productivity for small businesses and their performance within the Pick n Pay supply chain. And the critical question is, how does one qualify? What is the qualifying criteria? So it has to be a registered business, one that adheres to industry standards. And when we talk about industry standards, we're talking about food safety. We're talking about all the regulations, SAB approvals in respect of the product that you're bringing to us. We also look at the job creations that you are also providing, and the support for your communities in which you operate. We always look for innovative products, sustainable products that also include sustainable recyclable packaging, and a proudly South African product. And of course, we won't omit the price competitiveness, because we're living in a community, in a society where cash has become very, very difficult. So every product that we want to put on our shelf has to be beneficial for the customer, yourself as a business. And that's one of the aspects that we will be able to sit with you and go through and help you get your price on shelf at the right price. And again, I'm happy to take some questions around this to clarify it a little bit more. I've just put things in point form. And then what is the application process? We request that you send your email to smallbusiness@pnp.co.za, of which there is a product comparison document that we would ask you to submit. And what that does, it gives us a bit of an understanding, only an indication of what your product is and what your targeted market is and who you peg yourself against. So I'll give you an example of, if I was coming with UHT milk, I'd say my milk is compared to the Pick n Pay brand in terms of quality and in terms of price. Mine is X amount. The ones that you have on your shelf is X amount. That way it quickly gives us an idea and an indication of what category you would like to be. There will then be an assessment that we will conduct with that product sheet. And depending on the findings, we will then arrange a meeting with the buyer, discuss what we need to do. And then, of course, the vendor application form will be submitted to you. And once that is done, a listing, a vendor number is given, and stores are then allocated to you. The question I always get is, what if my business is small? How do you guys handle that? So if your business is small, we look at where you are situated, and we are happy to start with 3 or 4 stores within a specific radius of your productions facility. That way it allows you to produce here and not experience a lot of cost in travel. And also it allows you the opportunity to go into the business on Fridays to actually see your product on shelf and making sure that your product is properly presented in stores. So that is the basics. This is just a summary of our what you call them, pillars. It is the one to empower, to equip, engage, and of course ESD, which is what has brought us here today. So yes, I just thought I would share with you this particular video of a business that we have put through, because very often we talk about these things and we don't actually allow you to hear from a business that has gone through such a process. And this video will do that for us. So I invite you to just please pay attention. And by the way, this is the last video I have, or slide, and then we can go into the question and answer session.
Any business where you are growing fresh produce brings a lot of balance in your life. You are not so much driven by huge profits, but you are driven by the community. I come from a family of farmers, and that experience comes from my grandparents. They started farming despite all the hardships when it was not fashionable for black farmers to be commercial. For me, this business is about making sure that the business is sustainable. I then went out looking at suppliers that are very much aligned with my value system. The minute I met Pick n Pay, they were very receptive towards my story. They really believed in what it is we were trying to achieve. Because there's a food shortage in this country, it was very, very important for me to play in that sector. At Treasure Trove Farms, we hire attitude. It's employees that live and breathe the vision of the company. As a player in the community, you're not an island, but you are part of the upliftment to this country. We can only succeed because we are working together.
Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. I'm going to stop sharing. And Program Director Julian, will you be the one coordinating questions?
Yes,
take your
thank
lead.
you. Yes, thank you, Mark. I think that was very detailed. We're going to have an engaging session today to allow everybody to get as much information as they can with regard to how to actually ensure that your product gets into the Pick n Pay shops. I think we've already started seeing the hands. I'm going to go by order with regard to the hands. I've unmuted all the mics. If I call out your name, please do proceed and ask the question. And remember, keep it as clear as you can, as somebody else on the platform might be wanting a similar question as well as clarity on it. So Mark, I'm going to go to the first question, which is Realeboha. Realeboha, please unmute yourself. I've allowed your mic to go on.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I wanted to ask, thank you for the presentation also. I wanted to ask because a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity. Oh, okay. My business is into vegetables. Grow different kind of vegetables. So a few months back, there's a Pick n Pay here in Virginia that I used to supply some vegetables, my spinach, baby marrow, green beans. Now, they've changed management. So they were telling me that I can no longer supply unless I'm on the and they said something like I need to be on some national I think it's the vendor that you showed that we need to be on the platform. Now, my question on that was, since I do not have a pack house, do people like some of us, do we qualify even if we go onto the door, or do you prefer only people that have pack houses to supply your stores. And if I want to be on the your enterprise development, does that also require one to have a pack house so that one doesn't really go onto it unless all your ducks are in a row? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Julianne, do you prefer I answer the questions as they go, or I take
Yes,
two
please.
questions? Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
yes, Mark.
So, thank you for that very beautiful question. And you will have noticed that in my presentation, I did speak of the South Africa standards. And there are things that we get governed by the Department of Agriculture specifically, and the things that we are then held accountable to by the Competitions Commission. And those things, part and parcel of them, are making sure of compliance. And in your space, yes, a pack house is important, because what you then realize in a situation of the ones that we might have experienced, which we will all know, for example, listeriosis, a pack house allows you to keep a clear record of your batch, which part of the farm you harvested from, and to which specific area or region you distributed that product to. So those become part and parcel of the things that we require. However, there are ways that we can help you to supply into us. You do say that you're in Virginia, for which I think we've had a couple of visits in that area, and we are happy to look and say see what it is that you provide. So yes, when a business does change management, you do find that the new managers, they always say, a new broom sweeps clean. So then there is all of those requirements that they'll need to start looking at. But I'm happy you've seen my email address. I'm happy for you to email me, and we can look at what your business looks like, and we can put some thoughts together and see how we can best assist you.
Thank you, Mark. I think that was very detailed as well. Remember, the important thing here is to ensure this goes out to everybody that's on the platform that will be asking. Please do introduce yourself and your product, as to allow Mark also to have a better understanding of the type of product that you want to be listed within the Pick n Pay side. So we're going to move to the second question, Mark, which is Lwando Ho. Lwando, I've unmuted your mic. Please do proceed with your question.
Good morning, Mike, Mark, and Tim. Yes, my name is Lwando. I'm also from the Free State. My question is more on opportunities that you may have for small businesses that are more service orientated. How do we gain access as potential service providers with Pick n Pay? I'm in the built environment space professionally. I'm a QS by background. I run a small construction company, and you would know what that means. You do a lot of renovations with your stores, a whole lot of upgrades that you get to do. I've seen people being, transported all the way from Gauteng to all the other provinces to go and do this kind of work. How do we gain access to this space? I've tried, and it has not really gone that well. Though I do understand that you are also looking into people who are producers and suppliers of those kind of stuff, but your business is also pinned by having infrastructure that is functional, such as your buildings, where people walk in and so on, and you need service providers for that. How do we gain access into that space? People of my practice.
A very good question again, and we are divided into two parts where small business development is concerned. I'm more of trade, which you have highlighted, and then we also have a department that does services. Small business email that you saw earlier. I'm happy to go back to that slide just before we end, so you can take down that email address. They will also give you requirements. And if you have noticed, with all the changes that we have experienced within Pick n Pay, we have gone to regional focus, where if you are in the Free State, we are urging the people in the Free State to find businesses that are like yours, share the basic compliance. And if you are compliant, they will let you know when the bids for the specific services are up, and based on what you present, then your business does stand a chance. Again, the basic requirements: business must be registered, must be compliant to the basic South African rules and regulations. There is nothing else from a Pick n Pay point of view that we add that is not required by or set as a requirement by the different industries.
Thank you, Mark. And again, just to continuously encourage you guys, please remember, do introduce yourself with the type of product that you have, as to allow also the team on the platform to know. Although we've got Pick n Pay, Mr. Mark here, we also have our other Sefa colleagues that are on standby to ensure that all those other challenges that you might raise will be able to attend to. Just before I take on the next question, we will be taking you through the Sefa product and services, which will also engage more on how we can assist you with those gaps. So how to fill them in order to ensure that your product are indeed ready for Pick n Pay. Let's move over to Loretta Mahlobo. Loretta, I've unmuted your mic. Please do proceed with your question.
Morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am Loretta Mahlobo and I'm based in Pretoria. I've formulated skincare products that are verified by BWCSA and SAVS. I would like to have my products sold in Pick n Pay. Could you please advise on the procedure for getting skincare products listed, and how long does the process usually take? And also, I've noted on one of the slides that you've presented, you mentioned that we need to also send in the product comparison document. Where do we get the product comparison document? And yeah, I think that's all my questions, because I noted that you said you must submit the product comparison document and also email it. So I'd like to find out where can we get the document?
Thank you very much, Loretta. So that is found on our website, www.picknpay.co.za, and you go to the small business section. You'll find the document there. Download it, fill it in, and send it back to us. But it is available on our website. And then where skincare and any other product is concerned, my advice to every business, whether you're doing skincare, hair care, CSD, which is carbonated soft drinks, which include things like energy drinks, the supply of distilled water, mineral water, sauces, chilies, asha, or any other product, is that we would love you as the independent business to do an intensive search and understand what your market would be. Very often we find that if, for example, a friend of ours is doing tissue and he gets enrolled into Pick n Pay, everybody else then wants to do tissue. And then you find that within a short period of time, you have more than 10 businesses wanting to supply tissue, because based on the previous admission that we have done. So our request for you is to always say, what is different? What is the innovation that I've brought into my skin care product? I will tell you of a business that I handled, I worked with 2 years ago, that came with a skin product. But for them, they actually went and focused on people living with albinism, which is something that we hardly do. You always find a lotion that wants to maintain your tone, but this went and focused on a specific group of people. And the innovation that was there was how it would help them, be in the sun more often, and how that would help with their skin, which is something we never have. If you are bringing a skin care product that is already on shelf, the question is, what is innovative about your product that a customer would leave what they were using for yours, for example? So that is, I think, for me, a very key point to say, go out there and have a look at those things. And when you do get that product comparison document, those are the key elements that you're going to highlight to us in terms of a product. So that product comparison document is found on our website. and you are able to then email it back to us. And again, if you cannot find it, please email smallbusiness@pnp.co.za and share your product category. We will then automatically email you back with that product sheet in case you haven't found it, to say thank you very much. Please fill this in and bring it back to us.
Thank you, Mark. We're going to move, yes, we're going to move over to Boemo Tukula. Boemo, please remember to introduce yourself as well as where you're from and the product that you're doing, so that we are able to gather that info as well. Over to you.
Thank you, Julianne, and greetings to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Mark, for creating such a beautiful platform for small business. My name is Boemo Tukula, and I'm based in Bloemfontein, Free State Province. I'm into the detergent manufacturing. I have so far started with 5 products, which is the thick bleach, the handy cleaner, the dishwashing liquid, the degreaser, and the pine gel. And I've also added the tire polish on my list. So now I've just started early this year with the manufacturing. I have a mentor in Johannesburg where I do my manufacturing from, until such time when I have a space in my area in Bloemfontein where I can manufacture. Then unfortunately I'll have to travel to Johannesburg to use the factory for manufacturing. The mentor doesn't allow the backyard production due to some contamination and such quality issues. So I have just started. We were actually gonna start the process of quality standards in terms of SABS or checking of the product if it's in the required standard of the product. So my question is, seeing that I haven't started yet with the quality check of the product or product testing so that I get SABS approved, does that mean that for now I cannot maybe apply with you for assistance in terms of taking my product forward? Because I definitely would love to add more products on my list.
All right. I think I'm going to give an overall response. So if there are any other businesses that might have a similar thought or question, I can kind of take care of that. I just want to highlight the thought I brought out earlier about how you make a decision to go into a specific category. So be it skincare or be it detergents. The first research I would urge you to do is to ask yourself how many other businesses are doing exactly the same thing that you are, or business that you're trying to get into. The second question you need to try and research on is how big is that market share in terms of customers that you serve, and then work on a proportion of, if the market share is 100 and I have 20 businesses, for example, so which means the probability of those 20 businesses is 5% share, because that is what it means. If that number of businesses moves from 20 to 50, for example, your market share then becomes a 2% market share. However, what you then also need to put into consideration is going to be your pricing and your volume, because other businesses make their profit through volume, which means they put their products on a reasonable, affordable price. They cut down on their profitability. So if they would be making 5 Rand profits, they'll go down and make 2 Rand profits. So they are literally losing 3 Rand, but they will make that 3 Rand up in the amount of products that they would sell. So it's a very, very important research that you need to do. So to answer your question in terms of you are waiting for your SAP approvals, there won't be anything we will be able to do at this moment. Would love to engage with businesses that have already gone past that. You can imagine there's only one of me, and currently, I think if my memory serves me well, when I was looking at the numbers, there's 116 businesses. So for me to try and go through 116 businesses that have not got to the basic requirements, it will become a tiresome job. So our request would be get the basics in place, which you are doing. And when that is done, then reach out to us. But also reach out to us after having done your own market research to say what share of the market based with the product that I have will I be able to attain if I continue on this program that I'm on. And also a caution, it's not the amount of products that you have in your business that will make money for you. It is the quality and the type of a product that you have. You might just have one product that will make you millions, and someone might have 10 products and still fail to make a million. So, and also remember, the more products you make, the more cost of sale that you need to now put out. So as a caution, it's not always the amount of products that you have, it's the quality of that one product that will bring into the market that will make a difference.
Thanks, Mark. I liked one important note that you raised, which is why we are here as Sefa, to ensure that they are ready and that you do not have to go through the basic requirement as well. That is what we're going to unpack later on. So it's important for everybody to know that you need to clearly define what your product is and what problem it solves before you can get to a stage where you want to approach Pick n Pay. Identifying your target audience is also very important so that you know who will buy it and why. You don't want your product to be on the shelves and be sitting in without really having any movement. So it is your responsibility as well to ensure that you've got a better marketing strategy. Now, make a list of unique selling points as well, so that you are able to also identify what makes your product different and better than the others. I can tell you now that there is more than 7 toilet paper brand at the Pick n Pay store. So if you are in that space, you'd want to come up with something that's going to make you different from everybody else. I'm going to move over now to Bridget Sitlari. Bridget, I have unmuted your mic. Please unmute on your side as well and proceed with asking your question.
Sorry for that. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bridget
Good morning,
Sitlari.
Bridget.
Morning. Thank you for taking my hand. Releboa, thank you so much. Mark, I need to actually. I'm Bridget Sitlari. I'm from Bloemfontein, but I present a larger group. Larger in terms. I'm from Nafcock. I've got members that we are basically your clientele in the sector of retail. And I've got a few questions that I would be posing to you, but I see you might be sending out an audio of this thing, and I think the rest will communicate with Sefa. One thing that I would like to add as well that the latter speaker has said, for people in retail, trading at a competitive edge is definitely an add or a plus for your product to be something that people would value, where there's a lot of pull for people who sell spinach, for people who sell whatever. But whatever it is that you do that's special is going to set you apart from the rest. That's one thing. And one thing I need to know as well, mentoring, is it for everybody or is it open for youth? Who is it open for? And number two, we have a broad variety of members, especially in the areas where there isn't Pick n Pay. And those areas would be in your Bodivesdorp, bo Vepenata Banchu, there isn't a Pick and Pay there, and those people are into agri, hydro-agri, they are into piggery, cattle and sheep slaughter. Also this kind of this thing of the youth have developed some form of hydro agri businesses that's we've been monitoring. How do we tap into that market? How do we help them into that market? And how does Pick and Pay comes into that picture in terms of mentoring as well? And then last one, your CSI program, is it intertwined with this program that you guys are offering? When I talk about CSI programs, is that there's a lot where Pick and Pay is, it's difficult for us to tap into that, and yet they are using they are actually servicing the people that are around the townships or around that area. But when you need services for the CSI, it's very difficult for Pick and Pay to come back to you. So Mike, I think that would be specifically for you and not SAFTA. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So you've got three different points. So we have a CSI division that you would I would require you to reach out to, and they will be able to share with you their processes. I'm not positioned well enough to explain and express how they are operating. I'm happy to put you in touch with them. So please do email me on the small business email, which we have shared, and then I will redirect your email to CSI, and they'll be able to explain their processes to detail. If you may allow me to do that, as I do understand that this is not a CSI meeting, so I'll not go into detail on that. I would like to then speak in terms of stores. Again, the store allocation is also dependent on the business structures, which I am not positioned well enough to explain to you how we find ourselves in stores. I would love to, however, highlight that when we are starting a business, I do not think we start a retail product that must only go into Pick and Pay. We are starting a product and making sure that there are other retailers that we can be compliant to provide our product to. So it will be unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we are not in those areas, but I do understand and believe that as a business would want to be everywhere. But I think it is also important to highlight that we cannot be everywhere. And if it's an area where you do believe it will serve Pick and Pay better, please do email us the proposed location. Our property team can always have a look at it and will advise us as such as to where and how they will be able to come through to those areas. The one important question from your side is the mentorship in terms of how we do mentorship. I will highlight again that our mentorship, for it to be effective, you have to be mentoring people you are in business with, because it comes a time where you have to be actively in trade, showing them how to position their product better, how to communicate with customers for them to understand how to serve the customer better. It is a difficult process, to be honest with you, to try and mentor a business that is not operative, because there's a lot of open gaps and things that you will not be able to actually give reasonable input based on an experience at store level. So our mentorship is given to the businesses that are listed. And of course, if you are not going to be listed with us, we will always give you a direction and we'll give you an indication of why we have not listed your product, what would love you to work on to improve your business, and not specifically for Pick and Pay, for any other business out there, be it formal or informal, because we have customers found in both sectors, informal sector and informal sector. So mentorship for us is really focus based, because we did speak of KPIs. It becomes difficult for me to put a KPI on a business that does not have stock in a business, because one of our KPIs is monitoring your stock holding and making you understand that stock on shelf is equal to cash in the bank, but you must decide where you want that cash. So that is one point that I'd just like to highlight, that when we are starting a business, when we have a product, the product must be universal enough to be in any other store and not in a specific retailer. If you look at big businesses that are out there, let's take Heineken or Coca-Cola, it's a product that can be in any store. So it is that kind of innovation that we are looking for, and that we'll ask you to put into your products, that is not retail specific, but that focus on each and every consumer or customer out there.
Thank you, Mark. Indeed, it is important to ensure that we really get our product on more than one retailer as well. Most of the challenges that many small businesses are facing is their survival within the first 3 years. And majority of those are those that are up to 60% of their revenue coming from one customer. So it's important indeed for them to look at how their product can actually, apart from being in the retail shelves, but also having a life of its own as well, and ensuring that you've got customers that will maintain its existence. We're going to move now to Refilwe Kaba. Refilwe, we are still 8 minutes before the hour 11 o'clock. We are still going to engage with more questions. Thank you, Mark, for your patience with the question and answering them as detailed as you can. Truly appreciate that. Let's move over to Refilwe Kaba. And remember, we are going to have a presentation on the Sefa product and services. Sefa is a new baby on the block. We are 1 year old, and it is a merger between former SEDA, which is the Small Enterprise Development Agency, Sefa, Small Enterprise Finance Agency, as well as CBDA. The three agencies were merged in an effort to actually ensure that we've got a one-stop shop that is available to support your businesses. So we're going to move over to Refilwe Kaba. Please proceed with your question.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Refilwe Kaba from Bloemfontein. I represent a company called Glow Looks, and we manufacture specifically natural-based products that are focused on ethnic hair, particularly focusing on people with scalp sensitivities. So these are people that cannot use mainstream chemical-based products. My three questions are, if I'm allowed to just post them to you, Mark. The first one is, what does the ESD program entail? The second one is, how inclined is Pick n Pay to white labeling? And then the last one is, what are the payment terms that Pick n Pay makes use of when working with SMEs or other small businesses?
All right, beautiful. So ESD, basically for us, it entails our incorporation of your business into our streamline, which is giving you access to stores, because it can be enterprise development if I'm not giving you the platform to present your products to the communities. It is then supported by the different pillars that we shared, which are basically empowering you with the knowledge to understand entrepreneurship, equipping you with the principles and policies that allow you to perform better, and engaging with you in terms of how to be profitable and how to manage your own business. That is what our ESD entails. In terms of the inclination of white labels, we prefer that you go out with who you are as an individual, because the minute you go into white labeling, we lose the authenticity of who you are. And that I think when we are in business, if we look at products that are out there that we buy that have not been labeled a specific brand, you are then able to buy that specific product across any province that you go to, or any business that you walk into. But once it becomes confined, you are kind of tying yourself down to a specific business, and then it makes it difficult for you now, because you now need to have an ad or marketing process for this retailer, a marketing process for that retailer, when you could have one product that you do one marketing and speak to the whole country. So in terms of that, that is what we will always motivate you. If there is a need for white labeling, then of course we have a couple of our businesses that that we have given the opportunity to do white labeling. And then in terms of payment terms, I think these are things that we would really love to make you understand, that it's like asking the different managers of the different retailers on an open platform, how much are you getting paid to be working at a specific retailer, and how much is someone working to be paid at a specific retailer. So these become the things that we sign NDAs for to discuss. And again, I did mention in my presentation that our rates will always be favorable, and they are to look out for you. If you looked at the or you paid attention and wrote some notes in terms of the first video that was addressed by the late Raymond Ackerman, it was clear about how we are preferential, deliberately preferential in making things much easier for small businesses. So our payment terms are favorable. The period is also favorable. And that is what I'd really love to share with you this particular moment. And based on the acts that we have in place, there are certain information I'm not able to share on open platforms because I'll need NDAs to be signed. And in this particular setting, it's just not possible.
Yes, indeed. I think I'm in agreement there with you, Mark, with regard to white labeling. And what they need to remember as well is that they cannot identify your brand anywhere if you start going into the white labeling space. So even if they love your product as customers, they tend to lose the identity of that specific product as well. So retailers doing decision override your creative or ethical choices when it comes to white labeling. So your product then starts to feel generic or just another label in the market. So it's important to actually own your product. And I like that you referred back to the video by Mr. Ackerman, that it is important that you actually own and ensure that you have your own brand that you can walk away with. Let's move over now to Dimakatso Nyambosi. Dimakatso, please proceed with your question. Dimakatso Nyambosi, I noted that you have unmuted yourself. Please proceed. We're going to move over to Tulinkosi while Dimakatso is still getting the mic sorted. Tulinkosi, you can proceed with your question.
Good day, everyone. I am Tulinkosi. I'm surprised that I'm with people from Free State. I'm based in Limpopo, Bela. So I feel kind of special unless the next speaker says the same. However, I represent a forum called the Greater Bela Business Forum. The reason why we exist is because small businesses have quite a few challenges, especially being online. They don't have access to internet, but they have great business ideas. I'm also a business coach. Now, it will be very useless for me to coach people if I don't understand what's in the market, because my company is to connect small businesses with the greater businesses. So here is my question. What are the problems or challenges that Pick n Pay has, one, with SMEs, other than the requirements of being legal and all that? What are the challenges that you have in getting SMEs to be part of your bigger business, number one? Number two, what are the problems that no one is solving? Because SMEs, especially the youth, they're trying to start new businesses, but you can't start a business unless you know what problem you want to solve. So I need to find out what are the problems that Pick n Pay is facing, so that when I give advice and look at the business ideas that people have, I can advise accordingly. Those are my two questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tuli, and welcome. It's nice to have you from Limpopo. I hope the next speaker doesn't say they're Limpopo from Limpopo or Mpumalanga. Very good questions, and I think it's a very great approach of that you have in terms being a business coach. So the biggest problems we face, not just in Pick n Pay, but in retail, because I do have access to reading and understanding, and also I do get the businesses that come back to me and say, listen, I've just come from retail X, and retail X is telling me XYZ. And I also was at Retail Z, and they also said the same thing. So what we do find is that there is a serious lack of understanding of who they are in the category that they find themselves in, or they place themselves in. There isn't a clear research and a predetermination of how they want to present themselves when they are given that opportunity. So you do find that a small business will come and say, Mark, I have this product, and I say, okay, fine, it looks good. Let's put it into store. Then it gets to the second point, or the second question, where you say, what are the other challenges that we find? The other challenges we find is unfinanced businesses or small businesses that do not have the proper financial backing to be able to produce, to be able to sustain themselves, to be able to market their products, for it to be received in the way in which they've envisioned it. So you do find a business with a properly researched product, and sometimes then they do not have the finance. Then you do find a business that has the finance, but they've not invested in the right product. So there has to be a balance that understands the market that it wants to serve, and then from that research of the market that it wants to serve, understand the vast amount of community. I did speak earlier about the market share. How big is the market share? And where is the majority of this market share? How can I tap in that particular market share? And what is my angle? And once I get in with this particular angle, how am I going to sustain myself in that particular category in terms of growth? So those are the usual suspects for me. It's businesses not understanding the category that they are joining, and a lack of finance for those particular businesses.
Okay, no, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Maybe just a follow-up on that. You know, that is a problem for you to engage them if they don't have enough finances. Is that what you're saying?
You asked me what are the problems, and I'm sharing with you what those problems are. So as a business coach, I'm understanding that the question was for you to prepare these guys to say, if you are going into this business, where are you getting the finance to sustain yourself for the next 6-7 months in production? Have you done a proper research to say, in this market share, if I go in the first 3 months, I should be at least having 14% of the market share. But in that first 3 months, if I have 2% of the market share, what am I doing wrong? If I go in and I have more than the market share, then I'm happy, because I know that my strategy is working. So those are the key problems that I'm highlighting, and I'm hoping I understood your question clearly.
Thank you, Mark. We're going to move now. Scaling up a business is about growing your operation revenue and market reach without proportionally increasing costs. So for a small business, it requires strategic planning, process optimization, and sometimes external support. And that's where we come in as Sefa as well, within our lending and BDS division. I will again unpack a bit later on with regard to how we assist businesses with those challenges that Mark has mentioned, to ensure that when a business is ready to scale up, they are indeed positioned correctly for that. We're going to move now to our next client that's asking a question. We've got Dimakatso Nyamposi. I think your mic is sorted now. I'm going to give you an opportunity now to ask your question.
Maybe what Dimakatso can do, Julian, later type it in the chat, and that way we can read what if you have opened that facility for a chat.
That's correct. Thanks, Mark. Dimakatso, if you can just type your question in the meantime in the chat while we move over to Mabatu. Mabatu, please proceed. Your mic has been unmuted. Please unmute on your side as well.
Morning, everyone. Good morning, Mark. My question is based on clothing because I'm manufacturing clothing, but I'm targeting a different customer segment. So I just wanted to find out from you, in order for a person to go to market in that space, what is needed? What accreditations or certifications or alignment to standards do you need?
Again, there are no specifications, just like we do in our normal space, because remember, fashion is something that comes and goes. So you've got to ask yourself, how consistent or how aligned are you with the growing trends? And if you're presenting a growing trend, how are you, what is the basis that you have, or how much support do you have to be able to sustain that? So if you think of any other retailer, without naming stores, if you go into each of their retail stores, you will find the exact same products across the country. That means that if those people have 400 or 500 stores, you have to go and make sure you produce enough of whatever you are producing to cater for those stores. And again, it goes back to that planning and the availability of the support to be able to produce.
Oh, okay. So basically, that is all I need. If I have machinery and whatever production can go out, you don't need like your SABS approval and what for my range to be at a Pick n Pay store.
Yeah, remember, this is fabric. So there's no chemicals that are being put in that product. So there's no measurement. So if you think of farming, we need you to have a global gap, because global gap allows you to test the quality of the water, the fertilizers that you're using, and so on and so forth. But now we are in fabric. It's really got to do with the designs that you're bringing forth to the businesses that you are approaching.
Oh, okay. No, that's it,
Thank
I
you.
think. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I'm just going to move before I take on more questions there. I'm going to move now to the chat just to address some of the questions that have come through from the chat. We've got one from Jimmy Maponyani. Jimmy Maponyani wants to know, does Pick n Pay ESD limited to only physical product? So they're a branding company, and do they have to, what does she say? Do we have an opportunity in the ESD space? So he wants to understand if within the ESD space, are you only limited to physical product? That's a question from Jimmy Maponyani.
I think we touched on that one earlier with the question that came in for services. We did say if it is a service, so that is like signage, it's a service. If you want to do tables, it's also a service. So again, the small business email that I shared with you will be able to redirect your request to the right department.
Thanks, Mark. Let's move to Dimakatso. Dimakatso, thank you for typing. She wants to know the vendor number that you give. Is it only limited to one store only, or will it then be expanded to the other store nationwide? I'm just going to break it down for you there quickly. So in other words, if you're in Sasolburg and
No,
you
I understand
are
the question.
receiving, yes, please.
And I did touch on it earlier. When we issue you a vendor number, you're open to all our Pick n Pay stores countrywide. It is between you and me when we decide how we want to grow you, how much of the stores we can offer you. If you are saying I am in Sasolburg, there's only 3 stores in Sasolburg, and you have enough products to go out of Sasolburg, you go to the nearest province, which you are able to supply. So once we give you a vendor number, it's open to all our Pick n Pay stores.
Thank you, Mark. There we go, Dimakatso Maponto. Maponto is Mukwena Maponto in Kestel saying, good morning, Mark. I was asking if you're going to repeat the requirements for the suppliers because I joined the meeting late. I think that's just Maponto wanting to know what are the requirements of becoming a supplier. I think he's going to share the presentation as well as the contact details of how to actually show that you get to that. There we go. The qualifying criteria, you have to be a registered business, ensure adherence to industry standard, job creation in local community and support community initiatives, innovative quality products, sustainable recyclable packaging, and a proudly South African product. And obviously the price competitiveness would also come into play there. We're going to move over now to Tabo. Tabo, if you can just shoot, I have unmuted your mic for you to take through your question. Now, in terms of the application process there, Mark has also shared, please do take a picture of this as to how to actually do your assessment online. And there's an email, smallbusiness@pnp.co.za. And following the assessment result, the meeting will then be arranged with the buyer. So please ensure that before you get to this stage, you do visit a Sefa office so that they can guide you and provide you with the right tools to ensure that before you take the assessment, your product are indeed ready to be taken into the Pick n Pay store. We're going to move now to Tabo. Tabo, please proceed with your question. I think Tabo also has a challenge with the mic. Mwiponi Mukotedi, are you ready with your question?
Yes, morning everybody. My name is Miponi Mukotedi. I'm from Bloemfontein Free State. I've got only two questions about how do you get the vendor, the application process. Number two is if I have a tag and I want to take my tag to Pick n Pay, what is the procedure for that? Thank you.
Just repeat your second question, please.
If I want to supply a tag, I'm in construction, then I want my tag to be in Pick n Pay, maybe to supply the product, the tag.
Okay, I'm not getting that clearly.
Mark,
Julian, please help me.
Yes. What Mwiponi is saying, she's in the logistics space in construction. She's got a vehicle, a truck, and how does she get her truck to be the one that's assisting with Pick n Pay?
All right. So where trucking is concerned, we have a logistic company that works through our DC, and I think that requirement of trucking, because we deliver to over 1,000 stores countrywide from our 4 different DCs. That contract is with Unitrans, if I'm not mistaken, and it will be something that you will need to approach that particular business and offer your truck, because we will not be able to go into an individual agreement. I think we have over 3,000 trucks that operate within the country. So it would make it difficult for us to have over 4-6, I mean, the different types of contracts, a single truck on your side and so on and so forth, so that if you need a collaboration, you'll need to take your truck into the trucking company that is contracted by Pick n Pay. So you'll need to reach them. I think it is also important to state that there are areas within the communities that we are not geared or that we believe we are not qualified enough to operate in, and in such areas we leave the ones that have the understanding of logistics to the logistics companies. We are a retailer. We sell baked beans and fruit and veg for a living. So in that space, we are able to help you very well. In terms of compliance, I think we've just gone through that process of what is required for you to apply for your product to be listed into Pick n Pay. So I'm hoping when Julian shares the minutes, you will be able to go through that.
Thank you, Mark. We're going to move over now to the chat. The time is exactly 15 minutes past the hour, 11 o'clock. We are still engaging with Mr. Mark Bandy, who's from Pick n Pay. He is indeed here to answer all the questions to ensure that we get you ready. And remember, as Sefa, we've got colleagues on the platform that are also listening to ensure that we are also going to assist you to get ready to get your product into Pick n Pay. A question from Tulin Kosi, Mark, says, does Pick n Pay offer any letter of intent to buy from a farmer who produces X, or do they have to approach Pick n Pay when they already have the stock?
We have stopped issuing letters of intent as a business because unfortunately there are people out there that will come and sell a good business plan. We give them a letter of intent. They go to different finance institutes. They get the millions and we never get to hear of them. The only time we get to hear of them is when the financial institute is now failing to get its money. And based on our letter of intent, because that is how they would have funded that business, that's when we only get to know that a business was financed over 10, 15 million, and we've never heard of them. So because of that experience, we do not issue letters of intent. We will issue letters of support when we have listed you and we are in business, and our letter of support will be detailed to any financial institution in terms of what our business plan with you is. So we will then be able to issue a letter of support and a letter of a partnership.
Thank you, Mark. I think with regard to Helena Machacha's question, you have answered it already around opportunity for consulting engineering in the construction space. You did mention that all other services, how do you go about and how do they go about registering to become a supplier? You've also shared the slide on how to go about that. So Helena Machacha, we will share that with you as well. We're going to move to Piwe Mjoka, Agritia farmer. He's saying, I hope it is a he. Good morning, my name is Piwe, chairperson of Abatuza Rural Youth Agricultural Sustainability in Mount Olive, Eastern Cape. So we've got Eastern Cape in the building, Mark. So the lady from Limpopo, I see we also have somebody from Eastern Cape here. We are a group of youth that is doing farming. So we registered as cooperation. We farm vegetables such as potato, cabbage, and spinach only. So we like to know if you also consider the cooperative companies or should it only be individuals? I think she wanted to say private companies.
Yeah, so I'd like to let you know that I actually came from the Eastern Cape last week. I spent a whole week in the Eastern Cape visiting different businesses. So it's nice to hear from you, and it's also nice to know that we are going to areas that we can find small businesses. Prior to this Eastern Cape visit, I was in Durban doing exactly the same thing. In the next 2 weeks, I'll be in Cape Town, and I do look forward to be going to areas such as Limpopo and Mpumalanga in trying to reach as many businesses as possible. What is essential to understand is that what we look at that's most important is the product, not the person, not the company, not the cooperative. However, it is then important once the product has become a requirement or an asset that we want to bring into the business, that you then go and do the basic requirements that are required for us to be able to transact money. Because when you are coming to us, you are giving us a product, we need to pay. SARS requires that we transact money in a fashion that is approved by the Reserve Bank or the monetary fund entities. So that's where the registration of the business comes. If you're an individual person, there are processes that would need us to be able to track any product and any payment back to you to avoid things like money laundering and etc. etc. So the product is what is important, and then of course when that product is identified, how you then present it to us becomes your preference.
Thank you, Mark. Just to as a note there as well, Mabatu just wanted to let you know that Northern Cape is also in the building. So please do
Welcome,
visit
Northern
the
Cape.
Northern Cape as well. Just another one here from Dimakatso Nyambaso wants to know, since she's in the agricultural sector, can she supply Pick n Pay with different products? Like now, how like now I started with eggs planting. I think she wants to say planting to start planting vegetable in the future. I'm based in the Free State between Paul Rocks and Bethlehem. She wants to know if she can supply with different products. I think the answer there you've already covered, but you can just add it again.
Yes, the answer is yes, and I did highlight that if you're in agriculture, there are the requirements. There is a global gap, and again, if you email me at the small business at pnp.co.za, I I'll be able to give you a questionnaire that can allow us to engage more.
Thank you, Mark. We are still here. Mark, are we still ready to take more questions? Are you still
I
on
am.
the platform with us? Thank you for that. We're going to go back again to Mikuboni. I think she wanted more information with regard to the logistic company that's registered with Pick n Pay. If we can just share their contact details or email address. I'm not sure if we can share it in the chat or if it's something that you'll be able to give to her. That's with regard to logistic companies that are registered under Pick n Pay for her to start engaging directly with them.
I'm gonna request that she emails me so that I can email her back. I don't readily have the information with me right now, but if she emails me, I'll be able to redirect her.
Yes, all right. There we go. I see before we move over to the hands there, I see the chats are coming in, and I blame you for that one, Mark. You said that everybody must now go to the chat. The hands have gone down, so everybody's now typing. It says, good morning, I'm Tabos Kosana. I'm from New Tech Water Solution Primary Cooperative. They're manufacturing bottled water. They're fully tested and compliant with DWS. They tested rainwater and they are already distributing in 5 towns. Congratulations, Tabo. That's in Fixbeck, Clockland, Marquardt, Ladybrand, and for Risberg. My colleagues from Tabo Mufutsanyana, please do take note of Tabo's business. He is currently already distributing, and I'm certain that he will require our support. They sell to 40 stores and growing, and they wanted to know the full requirement for bottled water business. Would the requirement be different if you are in that space?
The requirement is not different. You need to have a food safety in place that says that your water processing is being conducted in a safe and proper way. I think we do know that there is a lot of water contamination going around. So again, the safety of the consumers that we serve is key at any given point, and that will be the requirement.
Thank you. We're going to go back to the hands. And again, I'll go back to the chat. Makatu, are you ready now with your question?
Hi, thank you. Hi, Mark. I hope you are good. My name is Makatu. I am the founder of The Light Candles. I'm representing Joburg, Soweto.
Hello,
So
Makatu, I know you.
I'm glad you know me.
You don't have to say I'm Makatu. Say hi, Mark. I'm the guy that you've been talking to. I've given you samples, etc.
Yeah.
So yes, ask your question.
No, I don't want to be that guy.
Well,
No,
I'm
but
calling you out. I don't believe in hiding things, and
yeah,
I think being communicative clearly on any platform is equally important. So please
yeah.
ask your question so that I may answer it
All right.
graciously.
Yeah, okay. So basically, it's just two questions. And so it was going to be firstly, would you be willing to give guidance with regards to pricing? Because I know you mentioned something about another business making 2 rand per product, but they focused on volumes. So I think with me, I'm still trying to figure that out with regards to the candle industry because it is a 2.3 billion rand industry in South Africa, but I'm not sure with regards to the volumes of Pick n Pay. I think only you would be privy to that with regards to every month you guys sell over 10,000 packets and stuff like that. So the question is, would you be willing? Oh, oh, I see. I see. Yes, that's me. That's me. So yeah, on the with regards to pricing, would you be willing to assist with that? The second question would be logistics wise, once we are taken into Pick n Pay, is it a thing where we deliver a truckload to the DC and then they distribute, or is it like a spa franchise model where you can go to the spas you want as long as you've got a vendor number? But yeah, those are my two questions.
All right, so let's start with the most important one, which is pricing. So to control, I think the Competitions Commission has given us guidelines. The minute I start giving you suggestions of pricing, then I am indirectly controlling the pricing. The pricing has to be motivated by your cost of production and what you
Yeah.
want to achieve. So the example I gave you was an idea of how you can look at pricing and what facets you can put in your business, not based on what Pick n Pay has said, but based on how you want to grow within that industry. So pricing, I think you and I have had that conversation where I've said to you, go and look at each and everything and every component that you've put into your product. Have you included the cost of electricity, the cost of water, the cost of phone calls that you are making, because that is an expense that is coming off your business. And if you have considered that, you then say, how do I want to grow myself? Do I want to grow myself through margin? Do I want to grow myself through the profit I make? Or do I want to grow myself through volumes that I remove? Now, that's where the market share comes. I'm happy that you know that the candle industry is a 2 billion rand industry. But how much of that 2 billion do you have access to? How much of that 2 billion do you believe is still sitting on the table for someone to come and take? And what is it that you're going to provide in your candle that's going to make sure that that balance that you see lying on the table of that billion rand market share is going to come to you? And then the last one, in the terms of logistics, when we do list you, we allow you to deliver to stores close to you so you can monitor your product. The minute a product goes into DC, there's an additional expense for you because now you need a merchandising company to go and merchandise things for you. So while we are still in the phases of growing you, we really want you to be close to your market, understand your market, and slowly but surely grow into a national base.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark.
No problem.
Thank
My
you,
Joburg
Mark.
friend.
Yes, I think that was really good. Can you show the product again so that everybody can see that product? There we go. We've got the candles there all the way from Soweto, and I hope you have visited the Sefa branch in Braamfontein. We also have an access point in Soweto itself, which will provide additional support with regard to your business. Let's move now over to Matumelo. I think Matumelo is from Kwakwa. She just wanted to find out. Let's just read her question there. Matumelo Moruke from Kwakwa in the Free State. She needs to know the procedure of registering to be a supplier. Again, that was really outlined. She's saying her process is still at the beginning and she's doing traditional food like mutoho and dipapi. Will Pick n Pay be open for such?
I think I always remind people that our business is to serve customers, and our business is to serve customers what they want when they need it. So if there is a need for that in a particular province, store, area, and the need is there, we will look at supplying it to those. Again, the basics would be making sure that your business is registered, and that is a consumable. The food safety regulation kicks in, and as long as you are compliant, we'll be happy to look at your business.
Thank you, Mark. I think we've covered most of the questions. Please do remain on the platform as well so that we can engage further at a later stage. Now, with the next session of our program now, I've got colleagues from around the province of Free State. Remember, Sefa is available across the country, all 9 provinces, and I'm glad that we've got representatives from each province that's on the platform. It is available across the province. It is a 1-year-old agency that was born from the merger of SEDA, Sefa, and CBDA. Now, we're going to unpack a bit on how we're going to assist you to ensure that your product are ready. I'm just going to ask the colleagues on the platform. We've got Zama Malindi from Thabo Mfutsanyana branch, which is in Kwakwa, one of our most performing branches in the Free State. We've got Metogo Bob, who's in Lijoliputswa, and we've also got Hauhelo as well from Lijoliputswa. We also have on the platform, Mark, our operation manager, Mebujani Mshumbela, who's also listening. We're going to just go through the Sefa product and services to ensure that everybody is aware as to how we can assist their businesses. I see Tabo is back. Tabo, did you manage to get your answer across? I know we had challenges with your mic earlier on. All right, I think Tabo is, if you can just put your hand down. We've got the next question from Tatenda Matura. Tatenda, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm all right, Tatenda. How are you?
I'm well. Just have a question. My question is in regard to both Pick n Pay and Sefa. I have a business that is currently going on in Free State. I'm based in Bethlehem, supplying ice. I'm actually one of the guys that are supplying ice to Pick n Pay. What I wanted to find out, where does Sefa and Pick n Pay join hands? Say I want to increase my capacity or get into an industrial area where I'll be able to meet the demand of supplying the entire Free State region. Because currently I'm just doing it in a small corner, in a small garage. I need to expand. Can I get assistance from Pick n Pay and Sefa, say probably to get a piece of land in the industrial area and then start off? Thank you.
I'll reply on behalf of Pick n Pay, and I'll leave the other question to my colleagues. So I think from a Pick n Pay point of view, Tatenda, we've given you what you need, which is access to market. How you get to grow your business in terms of finding facility then falls in the finance institutions. I did highlight earlier that where there was a question of do I issue letters of intent, and my answer was no. So should you come to me and you say you want to get a letter of support and this is your business plan and the finance institution that you reach out to agrees to finance you, I'm able to share your growth plan with them so that you can be you can be better placed for them to be able to finance you. And I think what you should have started off by saying, Tatenda, is, hi, my name is Tatenda. I supply ice. I was recently assisted by Mark Pandi to be able to start supplying ice in the Free State.
That's fine. Yes,
No,
Tatenda
thank you
will
very
allow
much,
you
Mr.
to
Mark. Thank you
reintroduce
very much.
yourself.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mark.
Tatenda, for Mark's sake, let's allow you to reintroduce yourself again.
No, it's fine. We are running out of time. I'd like my colleagues on your end to answer him in terms of financing his facility.
Yes, I think we're going to cover that when we do the Sefa product and services Tatenda, but we do have an office in Bethlehem that is more than capable to actually ensure that you get the assistance that you need. When we cover that, I will cover how we can assist your business to scale up through our different offering that we have as Sefa. Now we're going to move over to Diegetse Nkubeka before we do the presentation.
Good morning, Max and the team, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm Diegetse Nkubeka from Sasolburg. I manufacture hair products for natural hair. My company name is McKay Hair and Skincare. My first question, Max, is how many minimum units you require per order if I want to supply Pick n Pay? And the second question is how long the listing process normally takes? Thank you so much.
So there's no minimum requirements in terms of stock, and that's why I keep referring to where you are based. So you are in Sasolburg. If there is 3 Sasolburg stores and you can only produce enough stock to be in one Sasolburg store, then you will only be in one Sasolburg store. The idea is to not overwhelm you with supply. The idea is to allow you to grow in the supply chain. So if putting you in one store allows you to grow into the second, into the third, into the fourth, into the rest of the region or into the country, then that is what we do. That is what our mentorship, our ESD is focused on. It's not one that is just saying how many people do I have on my program. It is what benefits am I actually providing for these businesses to grow themselves. So it's got nothing to do with minimum supplies. And then your second question, just remind me quickly again, sorry, ma'am.
Okay, I said how long the listing process normally takes on your side.
So the listing process is as long as the rope that would want it to be. I hope that makes sense. So if you want the rope to be this short, that's how long it will take. And I'm saying that because if I get all your details and we have agreed that we'll be listing you, we can list you within a week. and you find that sometimes you are in constant back and forth of incomplete documents, missing requirements. I'll give you an example. I had a business that I think I still have that business, and this should be a year and a couple of months now that I am waiting for a certified ID document.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Yes, there we go. We are just going to proceed quickly. I think we are on the issue of approaching new store that I just wanted to cover for the getting as well, just to add there that before, I think this is for everybody else as well. In terms of production capacity, you need to ask yourself a question first before you can see if you want to move into the second store. Can you consistently supply large volume without compromising on your quality? That is the most important question that one needs to ask themselves before they look at expanding into the other stores as well. The cash flow would be the second one. Can you fund the increased production, packaging, and logistics of you having to go to the second store? That's the second one. And then the staff and operation. Will you have enough personnel and system to manage the multiple clients? And then obviously the last one being around the issue of compliance. Are your product retail ready, meeting labeling, packaging, and regulatory requirement? And I think the most important thing there, Mark, is to ensure that they grow at a scale, at a pace which they themselves can be able to manage. We are available to assist to ensure that when they grow, they don't grow out of business, but rather grow into bigger businesses. We're going to move to, I think this is the last hand, Piwe Mjoka. Piwe? I think we've covered Piwe's question earlier on. I'm not sure if this was a new hand or not, but that would be it. Once again, Mark, we're going to proceed now and go into the second part of the program, which is around the Sefa product and services. Can colleagues on the platform, just by show of thumbs, please let me know if you can see my presentation?
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you.
Just before you go into your presentation, I just want to extend gratitude to you guys for inviting us. I also wanted to thank everybody that has attended, that has asked questions. I hope that I've answered your questions satisfactorily. I have shared my email address, so please do email me. I always say to the guys like Makatu and Tatenda, sometimes you might call me and I don't answer you. It's not like I'm ignoring you. I think they know that I not even make calls after 6 o'clock. That's how much I try to get back to as much people that are reaching out to me. So thank you very much, guys, for the opportunity, for allowing us to do what we do. And I do realize that I've got a meeting coming up just after this. And if there's any questions that you might come up, please, you can liaise through the same organizers, Julian and them, but you have my email address. And I look forward to the time when I'm in the Free State, seeing that majority of you are in the Free State. We will maybe put up a collaboration between ourselves and SEDA and SIDFA actually to visit you in the Free State and be in your environment and see how best we can help you from where you are operating.
All right. Before you move, I think, Mark, I'm just going to quickly ask our operation manager, maybe Janim Shumbela, just to quickly say a few words to you before we proceed with the program. Maybe Jenny?
Thanks, Julian. I just wanted to say thank you, Mark, for this informative session. This is the third one that we are having now. We started with macro. Last week it was ShopRite. Then this week it's Pick and Pay. We really appreciate the time you've taken to explain the process and also the qualifying criteria. We will surely get in touch with you in case we need more information. Thank you so much for the time you took to be with our SMEs in this session. We appreciate it as SEFA. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks, Mebwiji. Now we're moving straight to the Sefa product and services. Like I've mentioned, we've got colleagues from around the province, from the different branches that will actually be supporting on this presentation to ensure that we get all the information that's necessary to you. I just want to confirm one more time if you can see the presentation.
Yes, Julian, we can see, just make it in a slide mode. Thank you.
There we go. So Sefa, Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency, is an agency that was born on the 1st of October 2024 through the merger of Sefa, SEDA, and CBDA. Now, we've got two main divisions that is working with the SME development. We've got the BDS, as well as the lending and investment division. I'm from the BDS division, so my presentation will be focusing on the BDS. However, I am also going to cover a bit on the lending side as well in terms of the programs that they have running as well. Now, with regard to our vision as an organization, we are vision to empowering South Africa's small enterprise for inclusive growth, transformation, and sustainable employment. And our mission remains to promote and coordinate South Africa's small enterprise development ecosystem, deliver targeted financial and non-financial support, develop cooperative banking institutions, and strengthen the capacity of intermediary to provide quality support to small business. That is one of the reasons why we have such programs such as this to allow you to actually engage further and grow and strengthen the capacity of your businesses as well. In terms of our values, we've got integrity, entrepreneurial passion, customer-centric excellence, agility, as well as resilience. As I've mentioned, one of our core business as Sefa is to promote and coordinate the small enterprise ecosystem. We also facilitate access to business development support. We also facilitate an access to small enterprise finance and accelerate sustainable growth, innovation, and competitiveness. We're going to just move to some of the challenges that before we actually ensure that we are in a space where we assist our businesses. Some of the challenges that we've identified as the major challenge that many small businesses are facing, it's access to market. I think that's one of the reasons, maybe you also alluded, now that we started with macro, we moved over to ShopRite last week, and now we are with Pick n Pay. Hopefully, we can now go into the corporate space as well. This is for other businesses that are not in the retail space. That is to ensure that we improve on the access to market. Financial management, I did mention that we've got a lending and investment division. So I'm going to talk a bit about what their program offering is there. But apart from that, on our non-financial support, I'm going to also unpack on the financial management programs that we've got. Compliance, very key to many small businesses to ensure that they grow. Compliance remain one of the biggest challenge that is actually hindering their growth. Compliance can range from having to go into Pick n Pay and adhering to their HACCP standards, having to look at your different ISO standards that will actually guide your product and quality to ensure that you are ready for those one. Product development, that's what we were also talking about now with our retailers. The issue of turnaround times, access to funding, as well as red tapes. Those are the challenges that came forth with regard to many businesses. Now, business development support, how do we then ensure that we assist your business? We've got 4 categories of businesses that we then look at. We've got business talk, business start, business build, and business growth. Now, business talk will be a business that's still at an ideation stage. That's where we start. You mentioned that one of the challenges is compliance. We do a lot of entrepreneurship awareness throughout the different branches. We're also available to go and do per invite where we talk about our product and services. Business startup training, innovation and tools idea assessment. That is just some of the assessment that we look at when we're dealing with a client that's still at an ideation stage. The second one is your business planning and business registration and launch. These are clients that are ready to start. You've registered your business. Now you are ready to actually ensure that your business or your product rather gets into the retailer and you put it into the market. We did have that lady from Thabo Mfutsanyana that's saying she's in the process of registering her business and she wants to find out how we can actually ensure that we assist her. We do have a variety of trainings depending on where your need is as a business. We do business planning, business startup training, facilitation of access to finance, among other things. Now, one thing that we are key on in terms of Sefa, it's the assessment tools. We assess a business and the interventions will be guided by the outcome of the assessment that we do. So which type of assessment we do now? We've got assessment of company operation that will look into your business operation, and that will guide us in actually directing the intervention that we're going to move into. We've got your build and grow. These are businesses that have been in the market for a while to ensure that they do not fall within the first 3 years of operation. We assist them with mentoring and coaching, which is very important in this space. Now, some of our programs that we offer, we've got small enterprise coaching program. We've got the Track manufacturing supplier program, export development program. So as much as your product will be listed with Pick n Pay and so forth, we want to see those products also outside the borders of South Africa, and so that it can grow and be bigger than just with one retailer. Now, some of our intervention, we've got management system implementation, product accreditation, among other interventions, business plan, facilitating access to market, trade show facilitation. We currently have one that's happening at the mall, Val Mall, where we are exposing your product to the bigger market to ensure that not only do you focus on listing your product, but you are able to actually sell your product more. Patent registration, market research, again, training and network seminars is among those that are supported as well. Now, with access to market, again, I'm going to really dive into this one because you are here because of the Pick n Pay supply development program. You were here last week again for the ShopRite one. So the local exhibition, like I've mentioned, is also important. It's a supply development where we've got this type of webinars to expose your product or services to a market that will be relevant. International trade mission and export compliance support. Now, access to finance, how do we assist you with access to finance? Business plan preparation, feasibility study support, application for funding and business pitching. That's just some of the interventions around there. And then we've spoken about the training, the various business management training that we cover, and business development interventions such as mentorship and coaching. We're moving now to what we are doing with regard to the other services. As I've mentioned, within the BDS, this is the business development space. This is where we assess your business and look at exactly where in the journey your business is. If your business is still at a startup, there's certain intervention that we look at. So through our assessment, our various assessments that I've mentioned, it will guide us and provide a direction of how we can actually assist in growing your business. I'll give an example there. If we've assessed your business and we find that one of the key challenges that your business is not growing is because you do not have sufficient marketing tools to ensure that you attract a bigger market, we will assist you with access to online subscription. As we know, 4IR has taken over. We'll assist you with normal marketing tools or promotional materials. We'll also assist you with website to ensure that you reach a bigger audience as well. Now, with regard to that as well, you'd find that the reason you're not being able to get into Pick n Pay, ShopRite, or Macro, it's because your product is not labeled correctly or packaged correctly. That is some of the interventions under marketing that we assist with. Moving right along with other programs that we offer. If you are a business that has that is women-owned, we've got the She program that is also very important to ensure that we get you ready for export as well. Now, in terms of our process, you'll visit the branch. So as a client, you'll visit any of the Sefa branch across the country, and you will then consult with a practitioner who will then take you through our registration process and make you sign all the relevant documentation, and then go to the assessment and determine what is it that your business is lacking at that point in time. Most of the time, you'd find that people walk into our offices having already identified that the reason their business is not growing, it's because they don't have enough finances to grow their business. But when we assess it, we find that they are not growing because there's certain element around compliance that they have not really looked at. So do allow us to do the assessment on your business as to really provide the best intervention that we will all agree on. Once the implementation of that intervention is agreed on, then the project will then take place. As I've mentioned, this is on the BDS side. That's all the project that we are assisting within the BDS sites. Within the lending side, we've got different program that we assist with financing up to 15 million. That is a loan. We've got the Youth Challenge Fund. That is a program that's aimed at supporting businesses that are owned by youth. So it's youth-owned businesses, which has that is focusing on your technology and other sectors, where a certain portion of that would be a grant and the other portion will be a loan. So from the 15 million, you've got up to 30% that can go into a grant, as well as 40%. So it is divided into two categories, with startup, meaning if your business is still at startup stage, we are looking at a maximum support of 2 million. And if you are on the growth stage, we're looking at maximum support of 15 million. Important to note there that that is a youth challenge fund that is only focusing on businesses owned by those between the age of 18 and 35. We also have on our lending side, Township and Rural Entrepreneurship Program that is focusing on micro and small enterprises, particularly those that are based in the township and rural areas, and they offer blended finance as well as BDS, that's business development support. Those are the sectors such as your clothing and textile, your personal care. We've got your bakeries, as well as your artisans and your automotive, and among others that are operating within the township as well. We do have Amavulindlela funding scheme, which is also up to 15 million, minimum of 50,000. That is only focusing on entrepreneurs with disability, offering that credit facility between that amount. And we also have your normal retail finance. Our retail finance is also maximum 15 million as well. So that's another support that you can get from our lending side as well. So I'm just going to allow everybody to ask question with regard to that, where we've covered what is it that Sefa does, but we encourage all to actually ensure that you do visit the Sefa office across the country and across the different provinces. I can speak now for the Free State province, which has 5 district offices over and above the provincial office. So our district offices are as follows. We've got one in Lijweli-Putswa. We've got one in Thabo Mfutsanyana. We've got one in Fezile Dabi. We've got one in Mangaung, as well as one in Harib district. So if you do need support, please do visit those branches so that they can actually ensure that they guide you and take your hand to actually assist your business grow further. I did mention that I have colleagues on the platform from the various branches that will be assisting with the questions. I'm going to go straight to Maureen Mpatswe, who's got their hands up. Maureen, I think you've dropped your hand there a bit. We've got now Tepiso. Can we move to Tepiso with regard to the Sefa question? Tepiso, I've just unmuted you there to allow you to speak.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And yourself, Tepiso?
I'm good. This is Tipson Panya from Free State Kwakwa. I'm in plant production. We are currently producing spinach. We would like to receive help from Sefa. So the question is, what are the requirements for loan, and how can we get to work with Sefa to come and to help us get our product checked for market, because we have already started planting, but now the market is the problem.
Thank you. I think I would like you to put your details there on the chat. I'm going to see who's of our colleagues that are from Thabo Mofutsanyana branch. That is the closest branch for you to get assistance. But yes, you can receive the support and guidance from them assessing your business to ensure that you get they get to the intervention that is relevant to your business need. I'm just going to check if Zama Malindi from Thabo Mofutsanyana branch is still in the platform. Zama, we've got a lady here from that side that would like to get more support from Sefa. Can you kindly take her details so that you can assist her further?
Thank you so much, Julia.
Yes, thank you. We're going to move now to the second one. Tepiso, are you ready with your question?
No, you've already taken it. Thank you.
All right, let's move on. Ritabile Maimani. Okay, we're going to, yes, there we go. Yes, Ritabile.
Good morning. My name is Ritabile Maimane from Golden Goose. I'm based in Welcome. I'm happy that my BA is also here. My concern is that the turnaround time for Sefa for finance is taking so long. And in the meantime, we lose clients. Yes, I'm happy. I've been a client of Sefa for a long time, and I've been exposed to those export market. My clients in other countries have been waiting for my product, and I've been coming to Sefa for scaling up, and the funding, it takes so long because I think I'm now on the second year and still there's no funding yet, and I'm losing out on the opportunities that Sefa itself has already opened for our business. So I don't know how you can actually come out in terms of making the turnaround time for funding more short, especially when you have already opened a market for the client. Thank you.
Thanks, Retabile. I think one of the reasons why the merger took place that is currently 1 year old between SEDA, Sefa, and CBDA was to ensure that we reduce the red tapes around the issue of funding. So that is the biggest challenge that many businesses have also raised. That's why we took the initiative as government to ensure that those three agencies becomes one. So that's one of the improvements that we are hoping to see with regard to the access to finance. Hello from Lejweli. I think what we can do in this case with regard to Muiponi is to just to ensure that our colleagues from the lending side are able to look at the application, and we provide then the support that's necessary so that the application is indeed ready for funding. Because one of the other causes of delay would be that we get a lot of people that's applying before they become ready for funding. So we will provide that guidance. I think I'll just speak to our colleagues from Lejweli to try and establish how far your application is, and then we can provide the guidance where necessary. Tepiso, we are done. If we're going to move to Loretta, hello, if you can just please take the details of Muiponi Mukotedi so that we can follow up on your behalf with our lending division. But like I've mentioned, we are now one agency. So with regard to the turnaround time in terms of lending, things should be moving faster now. Loretta Matlobo.
Hello, as I mentioned before, I'm from Pretoria and I would love assistance from Sefa. And I'd also like to know, who do we contact? And my other question is that, is it possible for us, because I only learned about the, for example, this workshop meeting today that SIFTA is offering, and I just heard you mention that you also had a session with Macro and ShopRite. So I just wanted to find out, is it possible for us who are absent to get a recording or recordings of those meetings that you've had? And also, how do we find out more about these workshops or meetings? Can we be added to your database?
Thank you, Loretta. I think one thing that I've also mentioned at the beginning was how Sefa offices are available around the different provinces. So across the 9 provinces, there are Sefa offices. And with regard to getting support, we are currently in the Free State. However, within Gauteng, we've got branches in Pretoria as well as in Joburg. Over and above the access points, that's also available around the different places there in Gauteng area. Please do leave your details in the chat so that we can actually continuously invite you when we've got program this side as well. Thank you. Let's move over to Tuli. Tuli.
Thank you once again. Just a quick question. One of the companies that are in Bila, they have come up with a very great business idea. They've developed a system where SMEs can actually load their activities up until a point where it gives them income statements monthly and up to yearly. I need to know, who at SIFA can they talk to for partnership? Because their idea is to partner into the ecosystems of SIFA. Who can they contact to partner and offer these services? Because most SMEs are running their businesses, but in terms of administration and recording and knowing whether their business is scaling up or not is not recorded, which makes it very difficult for them when they are looking for funding. Who can they speak to collaborate on this platform? And I mean, the other question would be, do they need to be suppliers of SIFA, or can they just come in as a partnership or collaborative partner to offer this service to SMEs?
I think that would be a very great initiative that you're actually proposing. You said they are based in Bela, that is under the Limpopo province. So what we can do is provide you with the closest branch details and then schedule an appointment for you to go and see them in Limpopo area. That would be ideal for them to actually show that they form some sort of partnership while at it as well. But if it is in Bela, the closest will then be within the Limpopo area. But do leave your details on the chat, and I will personally make sure that we get you somebody that can schedule an appointment with them.
Okay, not a problem. Although the closest is Pretoria, because Bela is in the border of Gauteng and Limpopo, so the closest is Pretoria. If we can get somebody from Pretoria, I think that would be much easier than Mokopane and all these other areas in terms of distance.
Thank you. Katlego, if you can just take note of Methuli Nkosi. I think what she's proposing is quite key to our mandate as a department to ensure that we actually get the support that we need to the SMEs out there. Let's move over to Loretta Mahlobo.
Oh, you've already answered my question.
Oh, thank you. And then Tuli Nkosi. Let me just unmute you, Tuli, allow the mic. All right, Tuli. We've already done Tuli. Let's move to Patricia Beleng. Patricia, welcome. your mic. Please unmute so you can ask your question.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to listen. I had a question from last week, so I'm hoping this week they'll be able to answer it for me. Talking about the compliance. I'm a poultry farmer, and then I don't have the abattoir, and obviously the Pick n Pay and ShopRite, they're looking for slaughtered chickens. So I've been using this other abattoir that I believe that it's compliant. So can I be able to apply with the certification of that abattoir since I do the production and then send my chickens there to be processed? Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Your question will be directed. You said you wanted the question to be directed to ShopRite as well as Pick n Pay. I will ensure that they get that question as well. But I think the gentleman from Pick n Pay did cover with regard to that as well, not in detail, but he did mention that if you are actually, in terms of compliance, if you are getting the product from an external party, you are able to provide that external party's compliance documentation as support for your application as well. But please do write your question in the comment and then I will make sure that it goes there. I think we've covered all the question that is on the Thanks, Episo, Tuli, Patricia, and Muiponi. I think we've covered that. I'm just going to move quickly to the chat. Remember, please do ensure that you type your name, details, and everything on the chat so that we can allocate you to the correct person that will be able to support you further. Let me just see if we've got any other question. You guys are looking for recording for the macro and ShopRite. We will be giving that. Those that are putting their details, please make sure that your contact detail and the province and town so that we are able to provide your details to the relevant department or the relevant branches. As I've mentioned, we are in the Free State, and but Sefa is available across the country for additional support. We've got presence in over 9 provinces. This includes all access points as well. This is additional branches that are within the provinces. So please do leave your details on the chat as to be part of our database for all these programs that we are doing this side as well. But thank you so much. You guys have been a great audience. And indeed, we will ensure that when we do have this, we are able to give the information to our team as well to ensure that you are invited for such. Before we close off, I just want to quickly read the last message by Dimakatso Matlakala from Tembisa, who's known as Mangele. She's living with disability of laryngotomy, can't voice lost. My voice box, okay, sorry about that. Wanted to ask if you are approved in funding. I just want to read your message quickly. If you are approved in funding, what is the turnaround time for Sefa to send PO to the supplier? Because I find it difficult for me, especially due to my condition, to make calls for follow-up. I did contact the person who was currently busy with the application. So what we can do is in Tembisa, I'm assuming that you fall under the Sefa Joburg branch. If you can just please leave your details, Dimakatso Matlakala, so that I can just check how far your approval for funding is in terms of the supplier receiving the purchase order. Is it a loan or grant? It's only for the age 18 to 35. I'm 49 years old. There are various programs. The Youth Challenge Fund is only for the youth, but there are other programs under our lending divisions that will be able to assist anybody outside this age bracket of the Youth Development Fund. And it is a loan. The Youth Challenge Fund is a loan with a certain portion that can be converted into a grant. So for example, if you're getting 2 million as a startup, 40%, depending on the sector that you are, can be a grant, and then the 60% will then be a loan. I will be sharing the information with all of you. Hi, Julian, please also guide from a Sefa perspective, those who are in. Let me just see, that's Mabatu, your question didn't. also guide from a Sefa perspective, those who are in. Sure, your questions are coming in very strongly there. I'm just trying to read as many as I can so that I get to answer everybody. Hello, and all the other colleagues from Sefa on the platform, if you can assist me with the questions on the chat so that we can be able to assist everybody that is there. Provide Sefa the contact detail in Johannesburg. It is 011 408-6500. That is the Sefa contact detail in Gauteng. That's in Johannesburg branch. They are based in Braamfontein. It's 011-408-6500. That is their contact details. That is for DIPS. You wanted that information. And remember, Free State, like I've mentioned, we've got the 5 districts within the Free State: Harib, Mangaung, Thabo Mfutsanyana, Fezile Dabi, as well as Lijwe Liputswa. Hi, Julia. I'm Tepiso Mapanya from Kwakwa Free State. We are in the plant production. Colleagues from Kwakwa, if you can just please do take note of Tepiso's message as well. Tepiso, kindly please do share your details as well so that they are able to get hold of you. And please, hi Julian, please also guide from a Sefa perspective those who are in the manufacturing of clothing on the accreditation and licensing they need and how to go about getting them. I touched base with my local Sefa and I'm still waiting for their feedback. Mabato, please do indicate which one is your closest Sefa, but they will be able to assist you with the guidelines and direction. Now, with accreditation, depending on what accreditation or licensing you might need, with regard to accreditation, we've got a very good relationship with CETA, which is the ones that are able to issue accreditations, particularly for either your services CETA, depending on the sector that you are at, and then the licensing is the same. We will look at what sort of licensing you would need and we will provide guidance there. Our colleagues here is saying, please share email again for people that have just joined. We will be sharing the entire presentation so that if you need access to that presentation, please do let us know so that with your email address so that we can share it there. The email address, that's the small business at pnp.co.za. That is the email that Mark had initially shared. So I'm just going across the different questions. Please, for how long it takes to transfer one from one province to another. They've recently moved from Bloemfontein to Kimberley. I would advise you to actually ensure that you visit the branch where the file is being transferred to, and you sit to ensure that you are actually being assisted, even if it means you give them your new documentation so that they can create the file if the process is taking long. That should not be too difficult. We will be sending that to DIPS as well. Tepiso Mabote also wants the recording for macro. Thank you for a very informative meeting. Kindly do add us to your database to receive notices of meetings and opportunities. We will definitely do that. And remember, please do keep an eye on our social media pages. We've got a Small Enterprise Development and Finance Agency Facebook page, which is very active with posting all the opportunities that we are busy with. I think that should be the end of all the messages. You guys have been a very great audience. Please do ensure that you get your product ready for those retailers that we are bringing here and to ensure that you actually take on this opportunity clearly. Tebogo, I see your hand just went up now. You may proceed. I've allowed your mic to be on. Tebogo from Corporate Group. Let's move over to London.
Good day.
Hi, London.
I wanted to ask if your online platform is now working since it was under construction or something like that. so that we can
Yes.
be able to see fund opportunities, something that avails. I wanted to ask about that.
Yes, that would be, it is now up and running. The new Sefa website is now up and running. Please do visit that. But like I've mentioned, for any other opportunities, whether it be funding or training or anything that is available, the best information for where you can get that, it's from your business advisor. Please do ensure that you are aligned with a business advisor at Sefa, so that when the funding opportunity also arises, they are able to guide you and provide you with the support that you might need. I see Papadit ladies there saying that she wants the recordings there as well, because she's got a business advisor that is very helpful. So please do ensure that you get yourself aligned with the Sefa network and introduce yourself to a business advisor that is going to handhold you and ensure that where you do not see, they become your eye. But I think that brings us to the end of the session we have covered. We will continuously try and share as much information as possible with regard to any of these opportunities that are coming into forth, like I said, including funding. So thank you. You guys have been a great audience, and enjoy the rest of your day. Do come if you are around the Val Mall. Please do come and support. There's a pop-up that's happening in the Val Mall. Please do come through to buy from small businesses and also stand a chance to win yourself a voucher of 2,500 Rand from the mall that you can purchase at any store inside Val Mall if you buy from a small business. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Thank you.